What happens when the mattress maverick leaves the main stage at Sleep Summit and grabs the mic? Scott Vaughn is on the pod today to expose average retailers, reveal his top secret oath, can't tell anybody, and explain why the flat button on an adjustable base is spelled wrong, incorrectly. The funk is here, and the Fam Podcast starts right now.
In the mattress world, a no at checkout means a lost sale. That's where American First Finance comes in. We help you say yes to more customers, even if their credit isn't perfect. With fast setup, tailored solutions, and support every step of the way, you're not just offering a way to pay. You're inviting them to Yesville, where more people get approved and customers can take home the mattress they need today. Visit AmericanFirstFinance.com to get started.
For the first time ever, top retailers can carry the luxury mattress line one of America's top sleep retailers has kept to themselves until now. Introducing Prana Sleep, crafted from 100% natural materials featuring luxury latex quilted directly into the top panel. It's a feel no competitor can match. Born from decades of retail experience, Prana Sleep delivers premium performance, customer loyalty, and unmatched sleep satisfaction. Your competition is going to hate selling against Prana Sleep because nothing compares. Apply now at pranasleep.com. Did you know that 86% of customers buy from the first business that responds? And if you text back very quickly, that number jumps to over 90%. That's why Podium's AI employee, Jerry, is a game changer. Jerry never sleeps, never takes a lunch break, and never puts in a 2-week notice. He's always on, responding in seconds, so you never lose a lead again. Turn missed calls into texts, capture more leads, and close more deals, all with Podium. Want to see how it works? Get a demo today at podium.com/fam. Podium, because speed wins sales.
Welcome to the Fam Podcast with Mark Kinsley. This is where the best in the bedding business get even better.
Hey fam, the funk is in the house. My main man, Scott Vaughn. Scott, for people that don't know you, we'll get to the funk. Tell them who you are.
I'm Scott Vaughn.
Congratulations.
From Kentucky. Yeah. If you couldn't tell by the accent, I just gave it away.
So you're the founder of Wingo Coaching, published author with Brian Tracy, and owner of Happy Z's Sit and Sleep for a long time. You took that business to millions and millions and millions of dollars in a very, very small town. And now you're traveling around the world coaching people on some of the business practices and principles that made you all so much darn money in those small towns of Paducah and Benton. Is that right?
Benton, yeah.
Yeah, Benton to Bentonville.
Town of 4,400 people. Great people.
How do you do it? How did you sell so many mattresses and adjustable bases and furniture in such a small town? Is there a couple of secrets you can share right off the top?
Sure. We became very personable with our people, and I call them our people that live in our area, our circle of influence. And we expanded it out and some creative ads on, we've got one network television station here. So that made it easy to collect everybody in one ad. But we had creative commercials with the family, my kids and my wife. We just kind of try to make it fun and not make it about sale. We had sale, but that wasn't the focus. And we'd have a sale and nobody even know what the sale was. They just come in because they like the commercials, and I hear it every day, no matter where I go. I just went to the grocery store. I heard it from a few people there, and they need a new mattress, and they bought one from me years ago, and it's worn out now. So good timing. So, hey, it's perfect. Black Friday. Let's go.
Has there ever, today it's a Monday when the podcast comes out. Has there ever been a better day to buy a mattress?
You know what? Today is the best day in history to buy a new mattress. For sure, it's the best day. So you probably heard the story from me before. I think we've talked about it. Got property down in Florida on the beach, and there's a boat store on the side of the road going from Pensacola towards Destin. And on the fence, they got a big fence up there, and there's a big billboard. There was, they took it down now, but it said, "Today is the best day in history to buy a new boat." So I called back to the store and I said, "Hey, today is the best day in history to buy a new mattress." Every morning we lose our minds on that one statement. Today is the best day in history to buy a new mattress. So, and we implore it to our customers. I don't know how you did it, but you happened to pick the very best day in history to buy a new mattress when you walked in that door. So, and you just bring off that energy with the customer, and that's bringing the funk. That is bringing the funk right there every day, every customer. You can't leave one out.
All right, let's go to the funk, because you stepped on the main stage at Sleep Summit and you brought the funk. And you said, Greg Law, and he was walking in the back. He went to grab a drink. You're like, Greg Law, what is the funk? And he just just starts yelling. And people were like, I don't know that I know what the funk is, but I feel the funk. Is the funk a feeling?
The funk.
You feel the funk. Is the funk a feeling, or is it something else?
It is emotion. It's motion. And so it's that fourth quarter feeling that, we're bringing everything we got. We can rest tomorrow. We're going to give it all the energy we've got right now. So that is bringing the funk. So when I do my classes, I have a video up. It's a goat screaming at the top of its lungs. So I'll put up the Bring the Funk slide, and then I'll have, if you don't know what bringing the funk is, this goat is going to tell you what bringing the funk is. And I'll flip over to that goat screaming. And so I didn't have the goat screaming at Sleep Summit, so I used Greg Law instead. So Greg Law is the goat.
He is the goat. He is the funk. He's the embodiment of the goat, greatest of all time, and the funk.
That's right.
I think there's a lot to be said just for bringing the energy and the enthusiasm to every moment, because energy and enthusiasm is contagious. And if you're excited about what you're doing, people can't help but be excited along with you.
That's right. A smile is contagious. A yawn is contagious. I'd say we bring the smiles. And Brent Batterman, my buddy, I've got a serious man crush on, talks about it too. And he teaches, it's like, first thing you do when somebody comes in, smile. Act like you're glad they're there.
Yeah,
and
genuinely be glad they're there. I remember last year at Sleep Summit, he teaches this from the main stage, and it was after a break. I was trying to get everybody back, and I was up on the stage at that point, and I just started smiling and waving at people. I'm like, "Hey guys, come on back! No, come on, it's gonna be fun." And that's what Brent said he did at the back of the store at a mattress firm one time when people said that nothing was happening, there were no sales. He's like, "Well, let me try this," and he walked in as a trainer, and he just started smiling and waving. Yeah, start selling mattresses.
They'll smile and wave back. Somebody actually likes that I'm here. And you will stick out. I shop and secret shop all over the world, and average people, average places I go into, they don't. So if you do that one thing, and I believe, and Brent says the same thing, the greeting is the most important part of the entire selling process. It's the most important thing. So your first impression, you can't undo it. So you might as well do it right when you do it.
You said at Sleep Summit also that you just mentioned average stores, and you've seen plenty of average stores. Average sucks. Average is for sissies. That's a quote.
That's right. Average sucks. Average for sissies. And as they say down home, you don't want to be no sissy boy. Yeah, you don't. Average is like the enemy. And that's what our go-to is. It's the safe space. But be different. Be exciting. Be enthusiastic. And you will set a bar that your competition won't reach, more than likely.
What if somebody says to you right now, "Yeah, Scott, you created a great culture. You're an exciting guy. Like, you're a pilot and a pickleball player and an international traveler and an author and built a big business. My team's just not enthusiastic, and we don't have that same energy." What would you say to that person? Would you say, "Hey, you're a sissy"?
You call them sissies. It all starts at the top. The leader, the followers will do what the leader says. If they don't do what you say, you're not a leader. So if you're not a leader if you don't have any followers. So if they're not, like I was talking to a business owner last week, they're like, "Hey, I've got this person that works for me, and they're just not hitting the bar that we set." And I'm like, "You set the bar. You're the leader. You set the bar, and you have a meeting with them and say, this is where we're at. This is where our company works. This is where you're at. You have got to get here, or we're going to find somebody that will." And so, you need another job. If you can't reach our bar, our standard, then we're going to find someone else. And so that happens a lot. coached a lot of teams, some really big ones, and sometimes some of them will fire the bottom 20% every month. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I don't know. I kind of tend not to think that way, but coach them up. Coach, hey, this is how we do things. You should have a hunger and desire to be at the top. You want to win. I'm a competitor. I want to win. And so I'm going to find a way to win. And, I don't know if I said this at Sleep Summit, but I say it in a lot of my conferences and stuff that I talk at. Winners win, whiners whine. Winners don't whine and whiners don't win. So if you want to win, you find a way to win. And sometimes a winner does take a loss. Michael Jordan didn't win every game. LeBron didn't win every game. Gretzky didn't win every game. But when they lost, they found a way to win. They didn't whine. They didn't sit back there and whine. They're like, hey, I'm going to get better. Kobe worked his tail off till he died trying to get better. And he always wanted to be better. And it's that inner fire inside of you that's bringing the funk. There's a inner fire inside of a winner that refuses to lose. And they have this huge fire under their butt, as a lot of people say down here, that creates that desire to win. And they refuse to lose.
And I would say one of the best things, and I think you've done a fantastic job of this over the years with your teams, is you become a product of your team as well. So if your team wants to win and you're maybe not wired as a fire in the belly person, you're going to get absorbed into that culture, or the elite are going to keep doing elite things and you're going to get pushed out. And, I would say if you don't feel it right now, surround yourself with people that do feel it. Be a part of their circles, ask them how they do it, let that osmosis kick in and be a part of that energy, because growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So if you want to be a winner, you're going to have to grow. And if you want to grow, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable just needs to be part of your habitat. And I read the other day, I love this. This guy said he's about to perform 100 songs over 3 nights that he wrote over the years and no repeats. And he talked about how your habits become your habitat. And he's like, I don't have to develop some of these habits anymore because it's my habitat. It's just how I live now. And that's a beautiful place once you reach that. And your habits, today is a trailing effect of your habits over the past 30, 60, 90 days, 10 years.
Yeah, you have no other way of doing it once it becomes a habit. And I did a class last week, and I was just telling them, just like adjustable basis. It just becomes a part of your process. And if you will do the process that we teach, if you'll do the process, the way you greet people, the way you do, the questions you ask, the probing questions, how you present product to narrow it down to one bed, and then how you ask them to buy it, and then overcoming objections and follow through, you will win. The process takes the pressure off the salesperson. If you follow the process, a repeatable process, and it's not like you don't tweak the process from time to time, or a different customer. So if a customer comes in asking for a Prana, let's use Prana Sleep since they're a great sponsor of yours.
Shout out.
I love Prana. I love Prana. Love all those guys. Met them all. They're fantastic. If they come in asking for Prana Sleep, you show them Prana Sleep. That's a different process than if they come in, they don't know one bed from another. It's a different process. So if they've got a back problem, then you know what problems to fix. And like Bob Munkle is an excellent trainer in this business, and he talks about just fix the problems they have. Don't fix all the problems. You're fixing just the problems that they have. So if they sleep cold and you talk about hot sleepers all the time, or if their problem is motion transfer or whatever, you only fix those problems. You don't fix the other problems they don't even have, so.
I heard it put differently, but it's the same sentiment from Mark Hobson one time. And shout out to Mark, still doing great work in the industry. He had mentioned answering one question that a person has. So if somebody has a question, you answer that single question, and you don't go off on a tangent talking about all these amazing things it can also do, because you're introducing confusion, and a confused mind doesn't buy. A clear mind buys. Yeah, and I think that's that same principle.
Yeah, absolutely. You're only fixing the problems they have, and not creating new ones or other thoughts in their head to confuse their mind, which comes in confused to begin with. So I don't care if they're 95 years old. They've been online and done some research and found out a lot of bunk out there that's not true. And now you've got to clarify everything, and they don't trust you to begin with. So you got to create a friend before you create a customer. Another Brent Batterman. So you get someone who believes everything you say. And I think a lot of that you do with your online presence. So becoming that authority in your community, that you are the go-to guy or girl in your community. And a lot of that's done online, creating a YouTube channel, doing product reviews on products you have or products you don't have. And so you're becoming the authority, and they come to you. They chose us. I always say that almost in tears when they come through the door. They chose us out of all the options they had, dozens and dozens and dozens, including the option to buy from their bed in their jammies. They didn't even have to get up and get dressed to buy a mattress, but they chose us to come to. And so we got to bring the funk when they get there, and we got to act excited and be excited, because we know we got the best product, we got the best price and the best service for that person. And so there's nobody going to take care of them like I am. Jeff Bezos, I'm sure, is a wonderful man, and he would love to sell them mattresses, but not as much as me. I mean, they don't know these people. I'm with them. I see them in the grocery store. I see them at church and whatever, but they don't, Jeff doesn't know where Paducah, Kentucky is. He sure doesn't know where Possum Trot, Kentucky is. And he doesn't know where Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky is, but I do, and like Kelly Charles, Jeff thinks Rome is in Italy. It's not. It's in Georgia, so we know that, but poor Jeff Bezos doesn't know that. And Joe and Kelly Charles love the people in Rome, Georgia. I guarantee you they do. And they're going to service them way better than Amazon. I just bought something from Amazon right before I got on here. I'm not saying Amazon's bad. It's the best retail company ever, I think. Them and Walmart. But I think we're going to take care of them better as a locally owned and operated mattress store.
Well, you can see that enthusiasm whenever people are coming in the store, and even just the videos that you sent me. You sent me this video because there's become this friendly encouragement among sales team between Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture and Happy Z's Sit and Sleep. You sent me this video. These young men were all dressed really nice in suits, and then it turned into the WWE. What was that? What was going on there?
So that's back to the today is the best day in history. So every morning we have a 5-minute meeting, and it's just to go through the day, what we got coming up, to get everybody's mindset going just right. And so we talk through the sales going on, maybe some products that we want to move, trucks that are coming in, what have you. But we always end that sale with, today is the best day in history to buy a new mattress. So we do it enthusiastically, and our friends over at Sweet Dreams, God bless them, we love them with all our heart. We're like this, separated by 500 miles, but they're an amazing group, and so they've started doing it too. And we love each other, and we're challenging each other, and Jimmy's running, he's getting ready to run a marathon in Hawaii, and he's challenging our guys to start running and getting in shape. And so we're just really helping each other. Really, it's really awesome. Honestly, they're a lot like us mentally. So it's really fun. Iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another. And I feel like Sweet Dreams, Furniture and Mattress, and Happy Z's are two peas in a pod. So.
And if you want to talk about bringing the funk, and you're talking about Jimmy Hurtado, you saw the funk get taken on the main stage at Sleep Summit because Greg and Jimmy had put on this song. And so I got the DJ that was there as part of Sleep Summit. Yes, we have our own DJ at every Sleep Summit because we're not boring, because we bring the funk, baby. We want the energy and enthusiasm. We want you feeling like, I'm going to go back home ready to run through walls like the Kool-Aid man. And Jimmy and Greg got up there and took us to break with a wild dance routine, because they know how to bring the funk, man. They know how to bring the funk.
They do. They're amazing. I love that whole team. I did an event for them last week at their store, or not their store, but they closed their stores, and I did one in April, and then I did one last week for them, and they're amazing. I absolutely love their energy. And Greg is like the king of icebreakers. So I'm like, he's like, what kind of icebreaker? And I'm like, you're the king of it. You do it, and we're going to go with it. And I don't know. That guy's amazing. And Katie, I love her. But they just got a great team. The whole team is fantastic. They're very well engaged. So while I'm talking, I ask a question, they answer it. Like they're really engaged and taking tons of notes, and we're learning together. And they're just a really cool group. And I love coaching them because I feel like I learn more from them and get more energy, and passion from them. And Sleep Summit was special this year because I felt like the energy was there in the room. People were really engaged. I thought all the speakers were fantastic. And I heard Stephen and Brandon Bain talk about it and some of the takeaways that they got. I thought you're an idiot for getting an economist. Stephen said this. I think you're kind of an idiot for putting an economist up first, but he nailed it, man. He was awesome. I'm like, economists are a cure for insomnia usually, but that guy was unbelievably good. He was really good. So,
I probably wouldn't have put him on stage first had I not seen him speak.
Yeah.
And knowing also people are just trying to make sense of the world and tariffs and recession talks and just all this craziness in the world. And I'm like, how much of this is a lot of noise and how much of it is real? Because I want to highlight the real stuff so that it sets the foundation for everything they're going to learn over the course of the next 2 days. And by the way, if you go to last week's podcast, we put together a bunch of hot take clips from this economist, Dr. Chris Keel. And it's a great refresher on where are we at, what's real, what's not real, and how you should be thinking about applying this in your business. I say the K-shaped recovery for me is all right, y'all, let's go up market. Boomers have 65% of the wealth. But trust me, I'm with you. It was a risk. And I'm like, snooze fest from the beginning, or it's going to be a lot of fun. And he nailed it. I agree.
Yeah. And, he mentioned, the higher level, they have a lot of money. I mentioned it. And then we had an alternate view too, that, you can sell to less fortunate people too. And then your podcast with Stephen and Brandon focused on that as well. And I believe, those guys are very smart, and I don't leave anybody out. I'm focused on the wealthy in my 40 minutes, but I wasn't saying you don't sell $4.99 beds. I sold a Nectar this weekend. Myself, I worked the floor, and that's great. That is a young couple. That's what they could afford. And by golly, that's what we sold them, and it wasn't a high dollar mattress, but then when you get all the accessories, and I sold a bed bundle with it, and it ended up, all the things ended up a $2,800 ticket. So, but we have to utilize financing to get the middle class to be able to afford more premium beds. So utilizing that financing to get the middle class in there, because you've got to be able to sell the middle class, because that's most of the people. But don't leave out the wealthy. In so many places, I've been to a lot of, especially big metro markets, and you go into all the retailers, they all got the same thing, and I asked, whichever owner I'm working for is like, who's selling where the rich people go, and you got a lot of millionaires that live here. Where are they going to buy? And so why not be you, and feel like we limit ourselves if we don't. And a lot of it's in our own mind. We don't believe it's worth it. Essentially, we don't.
Right. And that was your secret that you told. You swore everybody to secrecy. Of course, it was fun, but you said, "All right, don't tell anybody." You said, "Justin Trumbo, don't go telling everybody this secret, but I have a secret that's going to help you in your business." And you revealed the secret. What was it?
The rich people have all the money. The rich people have all the money. And it sounds arrogant, and it sounds insensitive, and it's brutally honest, but wealthy people are always going to make money because they're smart. They understand money, how it works, and they make money in a down economy, and they make money in an up economy. And so those people are some we could focus on, that it seems like nobody is really jumping on that bandwagon. And the processes we've implemented, and I live in one of the poorest parts of the country. Our average household income is around 40 grand, and 21% poverty rate. And we sell some luxury beds, we sell everybody a luxury bed? No, but we sell some. And so those will pay the rent, and it booms your numbers. And I got an email and 2 texts November 1st with dealers that just implemented what we've been talking about, and their sales, one of them was nearly triple what it was last October in his first month of implementing what we teach. So nearly, and he's no chump. This is a good dealer. This is not some guy doing 200 grand a year and at 600. This is a guy that does, a lot of business. And he's like, we just implemented all that stuff, and holy cow, they just up their merchandising a little bit. It's not that and again, I agree with Steven and Brandon. You don't not sell a $499 bed or a $299 bed if you can, but it's like, we're not going to focus on that doorbuster anymore. That's not going to be the focus. It's going to be, okay, we got a process that shows luxury beds to everybody. And if we can't sell them, we step them down till we find something they can afford,
And I know part of your
way to afford it with financing.
Right. With financing. That's why even Brent Batterman, shout out to Brent as always. I mean, he's teaching people how to, number one, look at the math. The numbers from somebody who pays cash, it's like almost like 5 to 6 times more whenever they use financing.
Yes.
That's what they're going to spend. And I know as part of that spend, as part of that investment, one of your things that you teach is all around the adjustable base, which is that part of the process when you walk away having worked with some folks, you're like, this is now part of your process. And some people are like, oh, I can't sell those. I never have. And you're like, yeah, you can.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's, and then a guy just commented online about, I did the Monday Morning Mattress Minutes this week, and it was all about the adjustable base. And guy that came to my class, he's like, we never sold any. And then all of a sudden I went to your class. I took your advice. I put an adjustable under every single bed, including twins. And he said, we sell them all the time now. Just if they can fog a mirror, show it to them. And it's like, even twins, I asked Jordan if I could share this, but we sold 2 little stores. We sold 23 twins in the first 10 months. Now that's not a big number, but 20 twin adjustable bases these are guest beds or kids, pretty much. And if you just show it to them and take it away, and then if you show it on a guest bed, they might get it for their bed too, and a lot of them do. So
you're like, hey, while you're out here, this is something that, while you're shopping for masters, might as well check out the latest and greatest. And I know you said that the adjustable base remotes, they have a button in the middle that I think the spelling is off. It says
it is
FLAT, which spells flat. Isn't that right?
Yeah. No, actually it means sold. SOLD. Somebody commented on that video I posted. He was secret shopping somebody, and he said, this is a 4-letter word in our store. It's the F word we don't say, flat, because you're going to hate it when I hit the flat button. And that was a good secret shop. I'd like to go to that one. If there's a store out there doing that, I thought it was a great line. It's like, hey, this is a 4-letter word that we hate around here.
So you showed it to the consumer, right?
Yeah, 4-letter F word that we hate around here, and you're going to hate it when I hit it. And you hit it, and they're like, oh, that customer hates it when you flatten them out after you've got them, especially in zero G or something like that. So,
oh man, I was in ZG last night, and I go from back to side after a half hour, and Tara she was ready to switch over to her side. And she's like, I need it to go flat. And I was like, no, please. I was like, even in that moment, I'm like, all right, I'm eventually going to get a twin XL Prana Sleep, one for her side and one for me.
Yeah.
What else are you up to? Like, what are you noticing out there when you go work with dealers, travel the country, travel the world? What's kind of the state of the state for you?
The ones that are learning and continuing to get better are succeeding. They're doing well. And they're the elite. They're the very few, and the ones that aren't are the one. Like I said, winners don't whine, whiners don't win. So even if you have a bad month, bad weekend, or whatever, you don't whine about it. You find a way to win. And so you're like, okay, some things don't work. Your marketing doesn't work, or it's the government was shut down for a while. It's shut down for everybody, but I said this in that class last week is I always look for a good recession. A good recession I'm happy about because it weeds out the sissies. And so not ill will about anybody or my competitor, but it's going to weed out those that aren't doing that well, and they are going to whine. They're going to stop advertising. A lot of them. I'm going to keep advertising. I'm going to keep that marketing going. And so I'll take market share during a recession. And I feel like if you're in a good financial position, I think it's important. Many business owners do this wrong. They have a great month or great year or whatever, and they all of a sudden they dig a pool and they buy the big giant house on the lake, and they go buy oceanfront property in the brand new truck, and they've washed out the thing my accountant says is king. Cash is king. And so having that cash, so when you have a rough month or COVID happens or market crashes or whatever, you can continue going on and you can continue to grow while the recession's going on. So I feel like it's important for business owners, especially, to keep that mindset. Like, hey, if it's a bad month, it's a bad month for everybody. More than likely, keep going and keep looking for ways to win.
I can tell you, it makes me think of what Eric Grinley, the founder of Esquire Advertising, told me on one of the podcasts years ago. We were going through the logic around people that stop advertising during a down economy. And he says the data shows that if you keep advertising during the down economy, you tend to maintain your sales numbers. And I think that's probably because, just like you described, you're probably taking some market share that's keeping you even. He said, but what the real magic is, the ones that continue to advertise, once there shows a correction in the economy, their sales grow on average 37%. So you're retaining, maintaining, and you're growing market share. And then on the backside of that, you're getting some hockey stick because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And if they stop knowing who you are because you've stopped advertising for a year, there's no chance of getting the like or the trust.
No. And say when COVID happened, we were closed 2 months because our governor closed the non-essential businesses, which I'm not bitter about at all.
I can tell. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
But our friend Trent Ranberger, he got on Facebook every day or every few days, and he started promoting other small businesses in his town. I call him, I say, hey, Trent, can I borrow that idea? Which is good to do because Trent's full of ideas, great ideas. And so I got on Facebook and I just picked out, 3 businesses in each town I had stores in. And I just started promoting restaurants, people that cut hair, people, widely affected by COVID, and just promoted their business and talked about how great their food was and make sure when they get open again, you support them, and us small businesses rely on you, the community, to keep us open. And so, I thought even when it's that bad that you're closed, there's still something you can do. And I thought Trent had a really good idea. I borrowed it from him. So thank you, Trent.
Trent, you're awesome. It's been a while, man. You're making me think of all the good times that Trent and I had with little Trent and traveling out to Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, Trent, thanks for always adding such great ideas. I mean, he is just a creative machine inside of one man.
He is.
It's incredible.
We talked about 2 greats. I mean, those are elite. Greg Law and Trent Ranberger are at the top of the list.
I think we need to start like a FAM Hall of Fame, but it's like living.
Yeah, and what I'm doing now is ideas from people I got all over the country. So what gave me this thing was we got pretty good, and I wanted to be elite. I wanted to be the best in the country, and so I started asking reps or anybody that in the industry is who's the best, who's the very best out there. And, you get those names like Greg Law and Trent, and people that are creative or they do well, like City Mattress. Oh my gosh, those guys are insanely good at what they do. And so, I just head down to South Florida and I spent some time down there shopping, and they didn't know me and I didn't know them, but I just went to their stores and took some pictures. Thankfully they let me, and get some ideas and learn. I just want to be better, and I feel like the dealers that do that, those are the ones that go to classes. They're the ones that go to Sleep Summit. Those are the ones that invest a little bit of money. You just think about, if it costs you $2,000 to go to Sleep Summit, $2,000, you sell one $4,000 bed from something you learn. One, you paid for the trip. Well, surely you're going to learn something that's recurring that you're going to learn over it, and you're going to sell more and more and more and more. And it's just a tiny investment. I mean, tiny investment.
And
If you
it's
implement what you learn. If you don't implement what you learn, you wasted time. But hopefully you implemented what you learned while you were there.
That's what our Aussie friend said. Remember the 5 ways to screw up Sleep Summit? Did you see the video? At the very
Yes.
end, he said, the number one way to screw up Sleep Summit is to walk away and not do anything with all the good stuff you learned.
Yeah.
And that's always my hope for people is, yes, get inspired, get rejuvenated, because that's personally, you're the thoroughbred, you're the prized racehorse. You got to treat yourself the best so you can run as fast as possible, but also just don't ignore everything you learned and walk away and do nothing with it.
Yeah.
It is so painful when people have that sort of experience. And, I was just talking to a guy that earlier today that had went to Sleep Summit last year, and he was still talking about some AI tips that he picked up, and they were implementing them across their entire team. And so, but if you don't get outside of your four walls as well, that you're always working in your business, you're probably not going to grow as much as when you get out and work on your business. And like when Greg and team, they bring you in, that's working. They shut their business down. That's how important this is. They sacrificed all sales so they could learn and grow and work on their business.
I know. And this is November. We're a few weeks away from Black Friday when we're taping this. And he closed his businesses all. And he did that in April 29th. And I'm like, you're an idiot. I mean, it's 2 days before the end of the month. You never close your store. But he closed all day that time. And May was their best month ever. And they took what they learned and they just took off with it. And they're continuing to grow. I don't know if I should say that on there, but they are continuing to grow and they're doing great things and they're a great company. But it's people like that who are growing, who are implementing new ideas all the time. And they don't, I used to be a know-it-all, like terrible know-it-all. And so what I did was I limited myself because all I was doing was forgetting things. I wasn't learning anything new. And I feel like the companies like Sweet Dreams, a lot of companies out there that are really growing, all the ones that showed up at Sleep Summit, they're learning. Their learning curve is going up. And so the more they learn, the better they're going to be at selling. Talked to Terry quite a bit. And man, that guy's a sponge. He just wants to learn and be better. And I love that guy. And there's a lot of people up there. I didn't meet them all, but a lot of people there that Matt and Jenny are there. They want to learn. They want to get better. I love that. I love that attitude. And I love hanging out with people like that because they teach me. They teach me a lot. And
when you're hanging out with elite people, because elite people are doing elite things. And one of those elite things is a commitment to growth. And that commitment to growth is reading books, going to seminars. It's not sitting around on your own. I think it really does involve being with people. And I think it matters whenever you can have that rich dialogue and be challenged positively by somebody that's sitting there face to face with you. So it's that mentality of, all right, I'm going to grow. Sometimes it's that simple. You say, I'm going to grow. And growth it can be found in so many different directions. But I always say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So when you, the student, are ready, your teachers are all around you. It's right here. It's Scott Fawn. I've got AI courses. We've got Sleep Summit and Dream Camp. We've got all kinds of industry events. You have people like, Greg and Katie or Trent or whoever it might be, Jason Goodman with City Mattress. They're happy to share. Stephen and Brandon from Bedhead, Brent Batterman. They are more than happy to share because they believe in elevating each other, lifting each other up. And when you're somebody that has sort of a perspective, man, when the student comes along and they're hungry, you're like, finally, somebody actually wants this. So there's so many people that want to help you.
Yeah. And I felt like this Sleep Summit, I learned more off of this one than I had any before. And it was so, one thing, you guys put on the best show there is, period. You're amazing. From doing them myself, my own thing is nowhere near your level. But the amount of energy you guys produce with your sound team and production team and all of that, plus the energy you bring personally and Tara brings, it really is awesome. But having all that energy with no content is just hype.
Right.
It's just hype. And so you get all energized, but then you go back and it fizzles. So it's a little bit more than motivation. You've got content too. And that's what I thought. Dr. Chris, he was fantastic, let us off. And then you had Jason, you had Patrick Wolf, you had really smart people. should not name names because I'll leave people out, but they were all very, very good at their niche. The podium guy, I don't know his name. He had rich content in there that mattered to all of us retailers, every one of us. So
Yeah.
everybody that presented, Eugene, I love Eugene. I actually got to meet, talk to him, play pickleball with Eugene one morning. And so we got to hang out a little bit, and he's a really smart guy and built a great company. And so it's really good to hang out with people like that and learn from them, and
Get in
just
the room.
sponge around these people. I sit there and shut up, and maybe ask some questions, but I just shut up and listen and let those guys just talk, because they're really smart.
Yeah. And sometimes if you get in rooms like that, it's really special. You can, if you've heard it before, let it wash over you again, and you may hear it in a new way. And, I'm so thankful to be a part of an industry where so many people do want to help each other out. And I know on the product and the manufacturing and brand side, they want to help retailers more than anything, because that's what's going to drive their business. And then the retailers that are starting to say, okay, the world's changed. I've got to become more competitive. How do I do that? They're reaching out. I really feel like there's a little less hesitation, because, for the longest time, if you walk out the front door of your store and you look to the right and there's a dirty window, and you look to the left and there's a dirty window, and they're always trying to undercut you on price. If you think that's the industry, then that's a horrible place to live. But when you get to Sleep Summit, or you show up to events and you start meeting people, you're like, oh my gosh, this is an elite business owner that happens to be in the mattress business. That's how I want to be. Now I have a new schema, or I have a new template or a model that I can follow, knowing that I can bring my best self to this endeavor, instead of thinking those two jabronis over there are the industry, because they're not.
Yeah. And it's like, I was in a Zoom call with a bunch of dealers last week, and they got into a discussion about one thing. It was about, how much do you charge for delivery? Well, one of big dealer does it free, and some did it, different prices. And then, we battled the free thing too as well, because a lot of our competitors did free delivery. When we created a bed bundle that included delivery, we didn't have that fight anymore. It's all included in the bundle. So you get your sheets, you get your mattress protector, you get your pillows, you get your protection plan on your adjustable base, you get delivery and haul away. And so all that bed bundle, it includes it in there. So it's not a battle from what we're offering and what they're offering. You're getting a value, the customer's getting a value better than the price of delivery. And so we were talking through the cost of delivery, and I did the math years ago. It cost me $140 per delivery. So even if I charge $99, I'm losing money, so including it in a bundle like that, it helps us recover some of the costs and expenses of owning a business.
And that's when you're developing offers, and you should develop offers. That's a value stack. What are the different things we can stack in value? And we can, don't forget to assign a value to it. So if you say that we're going to do your mattress takeaway, and it's just included in the bundle, it'd probably serve you better to anchor that consumer's perception and this is a $140 trip. It probably maybe even cost more for takeaway, since you're having to, get it to the dump or get it to the right spot. So when you create these bundles, and this is one of my favorite things that you've shared with the industry so openly, is that once people are sort of, done with the mattress process, it's so hard to introduce accessories, because they don't want to lose the sale. You don't want to add anything to it. I got them to say yes to the big purchase, but when
hurry up and sign.
But you at that point, it's a very gentle, logical, easy conversation, because you say, we got your mattress and base. Now let's do your bundle. We got A, B, and C.
And on our price tags, and a lot of the dealers that have come to my classes have implemented it as well, and it works like a champ. It's like we've got everything on the price tag, and it's only $183 a month, or whatever, and it's included. So now let's just go pick out the color of your sheets. We'll get your mattress protector, and you pick out your pillows. You've already picked out. You already done it when you did the selling process, but you picked all that out, and it's already done. They've already made the decision to do it. It's included in the price. So let's get it. There's nothing else to it. And like on a $9.99 bundle at 48 months, it's barely what, 21, $22 a month. So it's very palatable for anybody, any level of purchase power, as long as they've got finance ability, they can get it. So, and I want to mention like Harry Roberts too. Harry's like one of those smart guys that knows a lot about this industry, and he helps people like me. He helped when Nicole worked for us. He took her under his wing and just helped her walk through some things and gave her a lot of ideas that we implemented, and people like that are just invaluable to our industry. But to my own company, I just want to say thank you to Harry for all he's done for us.
A big shout out to Harry and Charlie Roberts and their incredible team at Mattress Firm Roberts Group. One of the, they're still the largest mattress firm franchisee in the country. And of course, Harry, co-founder of Mattress Firm, and they're still playing. They're still bringing the funk every day. They are elite. I know that their team is just, I mean, they're doing it every single day at the highest level. And for Harry to be in a spot now with, hey, check out the Bed Buzz podcast with him and Jimmy Hill, and continue to share, continue to coach. I mean, it's just like some days I wake up and I'm like, I can't fall in love with this industry anymore. And then I do with stuff like that. People come out of the woodwork still willing to share and grow and advance us forward and nudge and challenge and disrupt in a positive way and be additive. We're in the best industry in the world. I believe it.
We are, and I told the class last week, one of my kids asked, I want to start a business. What should I start? And I thought. I'm like, there's nothing better than the mattress business. There's really nothing better than the mattress business. You're helping more people in the most impactful way than any other thing you can sell or offer. So it really is the best business there is. The cost of entry is fairly low still, even if you do what I prefer is put an adjustable under every bed. It's still pretty low cost of entry compared to other types of businesses, especially franchises, big franchises like a McDonald's. Open up a McDonald's and see what that costs you.
Yeah, man. When I was traveling in India, I saw 600 square foot stores, and hey, begin where you are, use what you have, do what you can. That's Arthur Ashe, the tennis player. And I love that always, because it just takes away all the mystique and all the kind of negative self-talk. And you're like, begin where you are, look around, use what you have, and are you doing what you can? And you can operate with an elite mentality in a small footprint, just getting started off and working your tail off to get customers in and serve your friends and family to start off with. You can do it.
Yeah. I did. I started, we sold everything we had. House, my wife's car. The kids thought they were next. I mean, it was everything. We sold everything to start. We delivered out of my pickup truck. And after work, if I sold something, we had a delivery that day. So we literally started from there. We rented a place, the cheapest thing I could find in the back corner of a shopping center in a small town. We worked our way out of the hole. And I'll never forget when we hit $10,000 in an account, we had a party. I mean, we were like, we did it. 10,000. Yeah. Made it rain, baby.
Hey, celebrate those wins along the way. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And it's like, okay, now what? And it's like Greg's team last week. Okay, now what? You've done some really good things. You've hit some numbers you didn't think you could hit. Now what? Now we're seeing the potential. Zig Ziglar says, go as far as you can see, and then you can see even farther. And so we're going places we haven't been before. We went as far as we could see, and we can't believe we're there. We got on top of this ridge. You know what? There's another ridge even higher now that we can see. So it's like, okay, how are we going to get to that next level? And what are the things we got to do to get there? And it keeps I'm a visionary, so I'm constantly thinking about, if we could do this, I bet we can do that. I bet we can do even more. So it's like, okay, it gives me a new challenge. How do we get there? And I don't know how to get there. I don't have a clue. And that's why I go see all these smart people, and I need to go see Harry Roberts and say, hey, how can I get from here to there? And that guy, I guarantee, has got ideas that I haven't thought of, and that's why I like Nationwide and places like that, buying groups, and you'll run into dealers that aren't doing that maybe the numbers you are, but they've got an idea, I guarantee you, that you haven't even thought of yet that will help your business grow. And so just going and being a sponge at wherever you are. And even when I secret shop, I'm always there to learn. Actually, I'm not there to nitpick their store. I'm there to learn, what are they doing that I'm not, or what are they doing better than me that I could pick off of their, Chris Nelson, my buddy in Somerset, Kentucky, says R&D is rob and duplicate. So I'm robbing and duplicating a lot. I'm very unoriginal, so I've got to come up with ideas that other people have thought of, and like, okay, how can I utilize this in my business?
Sam Walton famously said he never had an original idea in his life. He was just really good at recognizing a good idea when he saw it, and he knew how to remix it and apply it within Walmart. Derivative with a twist.
Yeah, the inventor of a product usually is not the one that maximizes on the idea. It's the one that takes that idea and they take it even further as they go. And that's very good. And Russ was fantastic. I did not mention him from the VIP. That VIP get together when he spoke was vital. I thought a lot of what he said in that mattered. It made me think about what can we do, like this book right there, Unreasonable Hospitality. I try to think that way. So like when we have an issue, what's unreasonable? What's unreasonable to do? And he brought up that story about a blanket was brought in. It looked like it'd been in a horse barn or something. And some people would use this blanket, if you don't mind me telling the story, but use this blanket, and they brought it in from the barn and they wanted to return it for a refund and they didn't take it back. And Sam, in no matter of terms, he said, take the blanket back. We've got 2 words up on the wall up there on the front of the store that I mean, satisfaction guaranteed. No matter what, even when it costs you, some decisions are going to cost you money, but that word will get out. Unreasonable Hospitality is a great book. I recommend to anybody because it will make you think about, and these, a lot of these groups I get involved in that they talk through, we don't give refunds and we don't do this and we don't do that. Shoot, no, we're not doing that. But you know what? If you do the unreasonable for someone, that word gets out. They're like, hey, those people at Happy Z's took care of us, on this, and they were great to work with, and people like that. And word gets out, and you can't pay for that advertising when word gets out on how you took care of people. And Sam Walton built a business on that. A huge, right. I think it's a pretty huge business, especially in Bentonville. It's a really big business, and he built it on that. I'm going to take that blanket back and give you your money back if you want it. Or I can give you a new blanket, even though it's thoroughly used. It was ready for the dumpster. But did it cost him money? Did it make him money? A lot.
That customer is going to come back and buy everything under the sun from Walmart if they felt taken care of. And I love what you're saying about recognizing doing just the right thing in the moment. But I love, there's a story also in Unreasonable Hospitality that makes me think about being proactive with that mentality, not just reactive to things like returns. He tells a story about this couple that came into the restaurant. So that's about 11 Madison Park, but that restaurant, yes, it became #1 in the world.
Yes.
And they tell a story about this couple that came in and this group of people, and they said, oh, we've had a great trip. The only thing we didn't get was a hot dog, a classic New York style hot dog. But we're here, so we're going to go home tomorrow. The waiter heard that, goes to the chef, and they decide to go out on the street and buy a hot dog and bring it back to the kitchen and cut it up kind of nicely and put some dabs of mustard and ketchup and relish or whatever the classic New York hot dog was, and bring it out to that family so they could experience, without regret, a New York hot dog while they were in the city. And that became the stuff of legend and lore because they were listening. They were proactive. They were thinking, what can I do to make magic of this moment? Yeah. And that's another level.
That's the story that comes to my mind immediately. The dirty water, they call it a dirty water hot dog. And the chef fought him on it. Like, no, I'm not taking one of those nasty hot dogs. No, trust me, do this. And then I taught on the 5 E's of Jesse Cole last week, and that's one of his E's was, I can't remember what he titled it, but it's like you're listening to what they're saying. And he told this story about a lady posting that, hey, we got engaged and we're celebrating by going to see the Savannah Bananas tonight. So they saw that, one of their people saw it online. They scour the crowd of 4,000 people to find her because they saw what she was wearing in the video or whatever. And they found her, and they went to a flower shop, got flowers for her and her fiance, and presented them to them and made a big deal out of it on the big screen. And that's unreasonable hospitality. And that's why the Savannah Bananas are a $1 billion business. Things like that, they elevated that. And just like the restaurant elevated a hot dog, it cost them $2, maybe $2 or $3. And what did that do? That's what elite companies do. They do things that average companies will not do. And so we've got to think that way. If we're going to beat the big boys and the online retailers, we've got to think, what are people really, why do they want to shop with us? They've got to want to shop with us. And I think one thing they do, they want somebody that's willing to stand behind their product and create an unbelievable experience that they're willing to talk about to other people. So it creates a referral system. And then the other thing is do things that nobody else is willing to do, even if it costs you money. So doing those extra things that really elevate you to elite status. And I think you'll stand out, you will excel, and you'll grow even when nobody's growing.
I think one way to do that actually came from Jesse Cole when he was on my podcast years ago before he got super big. And it was really fun. And I
can't get him now.
I can't get him now. I can't get him on the horn.
I can't believe he's not calling you saying, man, when are you going to ask me to be on your show again?
I mean,
you are the Mark Kinsley.
Hey, the word's out, Jesse. Anytime, buddy, you can come back. So one of the things he mentioned was the Magic Castle Hotel in California. And at the Magic Castle Hotel, there was a story about a couple that came and they loved Marilyn Monroe. And at the front desk, they told them how they were going to go see the grave and all these movie spots and all these famous landmarks and the Wax Museum. And so they leave for the day. And when they come back to their hotel room at the Magic Castle Hotel, they close the door and there was a poster of Marilyn Monroe on the door. And it had like a thought bubble with this message about, thank you for coming to visit me today. It's so great to have you here in Los Angeles. And it was just this moment of surprise and delight. But when you zoom out and you take that to an application within a culture, they actually bonus their employees at the Magic Castle Hotel on stories. And so they bonus them on these stories of surprise and delight. And it's not minor. It's like $1,000 bonus if your story gets voted to the top amongst the employees. So they're creating a culture of what they want to create, not what they tolerate. And that culture is, we're going to do things that are completely unreasonable and make people smile. And we're pretty sure that's going to help our business. And it did. And Jesse, he's a genius in that too. He's taken all these great ideas that inspired him and brought them into a circus of a baseball game.
Yeah. And he's included his teams, like, come up with ideas. Let's think outside the box and let's do things that nobody's ever thought of, and like find a friction point and make it fun. Make something that people hate doing and make it fun. And so just like parking, I think you mentioned that before, is like how he gets people parked and dressing up in penguin suits. But whatever, we have a lot of friction points in our industry. It's like thinking outside the box. How can we make that fun? And so we're coming up with ideas right now. We're actively thinking about ways that we can make friction points fun. And so look out, and I want everybody listening to this. Hey, think about ideas, and we're going to elevate our game, all of us together.
Hey, and if you have ideas, I think that'd be a fun sort of like industry project, like friction to fun. What are all those little transition points? Everything from, you talked about parking lot, like parking in the parking lot to walking to the front door. That's a transition. Can you make that fun? It's not super friction filled unless you have, a bunch of stuff people are tripping over in the parking lot, which is possible. Yeah. From the time you open the door until the time you interface or shake hands with a salesperson, that can be intimidating. That's friction. How do you make that friction fun? And we just stack all these moments from friction to fun. You're a genius. I love this. Thank you for sharing that. That's a lot. That inspires me, because that's when you start engineering an experience instead of accepting outcomes.
Yeah, you don't have to do it like everybody else has done it. It's like getting out of your own store often is a way to learn from somebody else that they got things. I went to a store in Vegas last year, and he had a chalkboard in there with chalk, fun chalk, just for kids to play on, write on, whatever. I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. Of course, I haven't implemented it, but anyway, I thought it was a great idea. And he utilized a wall that was unused, going back to the bathroom, and he let kids go back there and draw on the chalkboard, a wall-sized chalkboard. So any idea like that you can implement yourself is fantastic. Just nail it. Go with it.
Yeah, there's a great furniture destination here in Arkansas called Sam's Furniture. It's not related to Sam's Club, but I think it's pretty brilliant that he named it that many years ago. About the same time Sam's Club is coming up, and they've got this big game room and this 50s style diner that's attached to it. And they've got all these different sort of implementations of like a spacesuit and like famous Western wear from movies behind glass cases. And they've just like a veterans wall because he was in the military. So all these just like moments and tableaus and experiences. And I walked in there one day and I go to the mattress department because it's about 100,000 square feet. I go to the mattress department, and back in the mattress department, I lay down on the beds. I look up and the fluorescent lights are covered with some sort of material. And I was like, hey, come here. I was like, that's a good idea. I was like, you cut that fluorescent down. He goes, we just did that today. We've been talking about doing it for a year. We just did. So they were always thinking about their environment and improving it. And that's why I talk about like engineering an experience versus just accepting outcomes, because you can create that customer journey and you can create those moments of surprise and delight. Like you said, right? There are no rules. You don't have to do it like everybody else does it. So don't.
Guess what? Those people that if you create that environment, those people buy more, they spend more, you close better percentage because they want to buy from you, and you got a happier customer experience, and you've created a referral program because they're going to tell everybody about the great experience they had with you. So you're going to pay one way or the other. You're going to pay by creating an experience, or you're going to pay by walking people. Which way you want to go? It's like your health. I wrote this in my book. I'm writing a book called Bring the Funk, and it's coming out next year. But it's like health. It's like you can pay the price for a dietitian and a fitness instructor, or you can pay a cardiologist. Which one do you want to pay? Either way, you're going to pay. But one, you're going to feel better, live longer and healthier. You can buy a better mattress, or you can buy a junk mattress. So you can sleep better and live longer. So
it's your choice.
Same
Drop
thing.
the mic.
You're going to pay either way. So you might as well pay and get the dietitian and the fitness instructor. And so live a healthier life, and then you don't need that cardiologist, and he can work on somebody else.
That's right. I like that. Just make a decision now and don't wait, because those days add up, and the compounding effect of whichever direction you're headed is going to catch up with you. Speaking of bringing the funk, so the book's coming out next year. As we wrap up the podcast, do you happen to have like a clipboard where you could draw us up a play for how we move forward with all these great ideas?
You want to see my clipboard is what you're saying?
Okay, maybe.
So Bring the Funk came out of, I coached basketball at one of the probably the smallest school in the whole state of Kentucky. And basketball's king here. Our kids were always the smallest, slowest, less athletic. So we had to create chaos. We pressed and trapped, and we had to shoot layups because we couldn't shoot threes very well. So one time we're playing a county school, which all the schools were bigger than us, but the county school, we hadn't beat a county school in 24 years. Our school that we were at. So I was assistant coach. I was in charge of getting them pumped up. The head coach did the X's and O's. So I'm in there yelling, screaming, spitting all over them, like, it's time to bring the funk, baby. And so they got jacked up, screaming, chest bumping, all that. You know how you do pregame, kids. And we won the game. And so a few games later, I didn't think no more about it. And our starting center, which was 5'9", and a high school basketball team. The reason he was the starting center is he would box out anybody. He didn't care if they're 6'9" or 7 foot. He would take them to the wall. So that's why he was. We had taller guys, but he said, "Coach, we need to bring the funk speech again." I'm like, okay. So then it became a habit, and then they created this clipboard for me. This is our school, Coach Vaughn, and on the back they put "Bring the Funk" on it. So
Bring the funk, baby.
it became
Big black and white letters. That was
yeah.
thoughtful of high school kids to do that for you.
Yeah, that was very nice. It was very cool. Yeah, so Bring the Funk was born, and I've been using it ever since on different things. And so, of course, I've gone into business coaching now, but everybody's like, well, what does that mean? So you just have to talk through it about how enthusiasm matters, and enthusiasm with content. That's when you got a perfect mix. So enthusiasm alone is just hype, and you add the content, you bring it all together with that motivation and your processes, you've got some magic that's going to happen. So you put it all together, you're going to build like Jesse Cole built a great business with those two things. He didn't just have the hype. He had plenty of hype, probably more than anybody, but he got ideas to funnel in with it. And he created this huge upscale company that's bringing maximum value to his customer base. And he created what he talks about. You create fans and not customers. So you want to create raving fans to your business and not just customers. And that's what Jesse Cole did better than anyone. So he created $1 billion. I hope I get to meet this guy someday, but fantastic job by him. And hope we can do the same thing in the mattress industry, no matter who it is.
We're on the way. And hey, if you're interested in, applying the funk and bringing the funk, man, reach out to my friend Scott Vaughn here, because he's helping a lot of businesses bring the funk. And thank you for putting it all together for us today. This is fun. Like, we covered a lot of ground, and I think we recapped some of the stuff that we hit at Sleep Summit, but there's also enthusiasm and new content. So I can't thank you enough for coming back and being on the show. Where do people find you?
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wingocoaching.win is my website, wingocoaching.win. So you can schedule a call with me if you want, and we can talk through some of these ideas. And I talk to dealers all day, every day on this phone, all day. That's what I do. And so it is so much fun to hear people. Sometimes it's like, hey, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? But sometimes it's, man, I had this customer and they told me no 5 times, or I want to think about it. And they utilized a close or something, and it got the sale, and it's things like that. Or I had a great month, I get that first of the month. Usually I get those calls, and it's really cool, really fun. I love this industry. I love helping out. I love being involved. Thank you for asking me to speak at Sleep Summit. It was so much fun. And it's really good, cool environment, of course. And probably to me is the coolest environment I've ever spoken in. I've spoken at a lot of things, and it really was a great audience. They were very involved. It was fun. And even, Justin Trumbo was not the first one to tell the secret. So Michael Whiffler from St. Louis took that honor. And Trumbo pointed it out to me too. So it was pretty funny. But anyways, really good time. And it's like, keep that enthusiasm up, even if it's a $4.99 customer. So something we had to learn, I know you're trying to wrap up, but something we had to learn was we'd lose our enthusiasm when we didn't have a high dollar prospect, and we'd lose the sale because we'd walk them out the door. And it's like, hey, I don't care what they're buying. If they want to buy a $3.99 bed or $4.99 bed, keep your enthusiasm up. Hey, no, this bed's not as good as that bed, but it's the best bed at that price point. So there's no point shopping around. We already did all the shopping for you, and we're the place to get it. So
yeah, and just be happy for them. Be like,
absolutely.
New mattress day is a big day. This is the thing you spend more of your life on than anything else, and you're getting a new one today. That's a big deal. We're happy for you.
Absolutely. We celebrate every sale.
I can imagine a clap tunnel coming out of your store. Just clap tunnel. Everybody lines up for every customer.
Now you're onto something. I like that.
That's a great transition. On that note, we're going to transition back to the end of the show, which is, hey, subscribe on thefam.com. Reach out to Scott. Go to LinkedIn. Go to wingocoaching.win, because you're going to win. And we'll have you back on the show here at some point. I know you're traveling all over the globe, speaking, coming out with a new book. I can't wait to be hopefully first on the list to talk about Bring the Funk, the new book in the new year. Thanks, Mr. Scott, for being on the show, brother.
Thanks for having me, bro. Take care.